Hello and welcome everyone to today's News Tonight, the weeknight news show where we're joined by special guests and our lovely patrons to discuss the day's gaming news. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Ash Polson and Steve Bowling, and our special guest, Andrew of Beta64. Welcome, sir.
Hello, I am Andrew of Beta64. That's me. My
Is he
introduction.
still, oh god, he's still in beta and he's not working properly.
No, it's a pleasure to be here, guys. I'm very excited to talk about today's news tonight. Wow.
Go figure.
Right?
Go figure. Who knew that was what this was about?
Yeah.
And
You've
as
been
we
doing
said
well?
in the... Oh, go ahead, Derek.
No, I was asking just how he was doing, because
how am I doing?
Haven't really got the chance to talk to you since PAX East, when I was actually allowed to see people.
Yeah, you have to talk, see, look at, be near. No, it's been going pretty well. I've been working on my SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom episode for what feels like an eternity, because I've been in contact with the devs behind the game. We've been working things out. They're currently reviewing my script, and I am sitting here waiting for the day that I can start recording, because it's going to be a good one.
Is it the original or the remake?
The original.
Okay. I
Nice. know
from talking to other YouTubers, she says he was shocked how massive the SpongeBob episode was. And then Antdude did it, started coming SpongeBob games, massive amounts of views. It's amazing how beloved that game is.
It's
so
so
I
good.
still feel kind of bad that when I played the remake,
No, I had the same thing. I played the remake and I was like, wow, it's nice. Okay. And now I'm going back to the original.
Maybe I need
Yeah,
to
it kind
play
of
the
came and
original
went
at some point.
pretty quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of glad in the sense of, like, I was going to actually release the episode with the remaster, but because the remaster didn't do, like, as well as I thought, I'm like, whew, okay. Because I totally missed that. I was riding on it. I was like, oh, I'm going to get so many views from all that search engine optimization with the game releasing, and I missed it, but it doesn't seem like it'll be too much of a detriment.
Yeah. As
Right.
Rob Barman X says, points out, the remake was rushed out for the movie, but the movie got delayed, so oops.
That is, yep.
Yeah.
Do you think they would have delayed the game as well? Give them more time because it needed it.
Yeah. They never really updated it, though, like, at all. It was like one update.
No,
So-
they didn't really bother.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
sounds about right.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, jumping into the day's news, there was a bit of a hubbub last night after we finished recording. Questions about Doom Eternal and whether or not it was canceled, because all of a sudden people's pre-orders were getting canceled and refunded by GameStop, and took a little bit for it to all come out. Turns out that the physical edition of Doom Eternal on the Switch has been canceled. However, it is still coming digitally, but for whatever reason, not physically, which is a little odd.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if maybe they pivoted late in the game because someone decided, well, Doom 2016 sales on Switch weren't that great. I don't know if they weren't that great. But it is a strange move to make so late in the game. I don't know if Microsoft's acquisition of Bethesda has anything to do with it. But it does seem strange to do this so close to release.
How close to release exactly are we?
We don't know.
A couple of weeks, right?
Okay, I was like, maybe I missed
We have
it.
no
like
we
the
have no
date?
release date yet, Ash. We
For some reason I thought we did. I don't know why. Okay.
No, it was supposed to
Okay.
come out day and date with the other versions, but then got pushed back for whatever reason, and now
Right.
we have no release date. So
We
Oh, my bad.
we are very, very close. That's what I'm gonna say. I've
Yeah.
heard the release date and I've verified it, but
Oh, have
it's
you?
not my story to tell. But I'll just tell you,
Ah.
we're really damned close. So
tomorrow,
without
got it.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Right
Nice.
now, I'm shadow dropping Doom Eternal on the Switch.
World premiere.
World premiere.
That's so weird. I could have sworn there was like a December announcement, but clearly I'm wrong. So there you go. But hey, it sounds like we're close anyway. So
maybe you just made a December announcement.
sure, maybe I did. Hey, based on nothing
yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah, Doom Eternal. Here's where I'm at with this. I wonder if the game is too large for a Switch card, and because Nintendo, I remember correctly, I've heard rumblings over the years about just the price of those little cards and Nintendo being unwilling to produce them past a specific size. I don't know what that is, but I doubt that Doom Eternal would be the one where they'd be like, hey, we're gonna release 64 gig cards for this game.
Right.
So yeah, I could see it, like maybe they just couldn't compress the game down enough to fit on one of those Switch cards, and people didn't want to buy a retail box with a download code.
True.
So
But
they
they've
just
already
figured, hey, just
they've
scrap
they've
it.
already released games with like where you have to download an update before you can play it.
Right.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember which ones they were. But there's
Wasn't the
quite a
original
few.
Doom like that? I think they got it all the game except for the multiplayer. And if you wanted to play the multiplayer of the original Doom on Switch, you had to download. And I think Wolfenstein was similar. So it's been a common thing. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had
Yeah.
to guess, that would be where I'm at with it. But who knows?
We've got a quick note in the chat here from Bob Mario who says, Steve, you're cutting out a little.
I'm hearing him just fine, so I don't know what's
I'm
going
hearing
on
him just
there.
fine too.
I know I'm having some weirdness on my end, but it sounds like I'm not cutting out, so that's good at least. But the stream is definitely
Yeah.
buffering on my end.
You sound
So-
great.
So just so you all know how the stream works, since we're getting a little technical, we broadcast everything to Derek, and Derek rebroadcasts that out to you. So if he can hear me, then that means that it's got to be
That's what
something
matters.
between on the YouTube side, basically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
sorry guys. Hopefully that'll level out. But
Yeah.
if
And
you
in the
watch the
Finos
video on
version-
demand version,
Yeah.
we'll have
It will be
my raw audio.
Crisp.
Exactly.
Got to make sure that does not happen. By the way, I love how this sound will stay in.
Uh-huh.
No
Little bit
cuts
of
here.
troubleshooting for you Friday night.
But yeah, it is what it is.
Well, how long does it take to produce a Switch cartridge? Because if we're that close, if we're that close, it just seems weird. Because like either they weren't planning to produce them or they were planning to produce it later. Because like if we're like say 2 weeks away from release, there's no way they can produce in 2 weeks like the cartridge. They must have canceled it earlier or
see,
something like that.
So
Right.
I think this is all just a case of really, really poor communication, right? Because
Yeah, I can
you're
see
right.
that.
Like they Bethesda or whoever had to inform retailers that they were not going to be able to fulfill their orders for physical copies because they weren't going to make them, and presumably, I don't know how retail acquisition works, but they have to have already paid, their wholesale price for the cartridges, right? So then Bethesda or whoever has to refund them. Or maybe even further up the chain, like they refund a distributor informs, whatever, right? Multiple layers of bullshit happen here, and then you don't get your
Yeah.
Switch card in the end.
Yep.
So the reasons why are a little weird, but it might just be something like, oh, hey, we decided not to do this. We're scrapping this project. We've refunded the companies. And then finally GameStop today was like, okay, now we've got to refund all the pre-orders. And so
Right.
that's when finally someone was forced to say something. So this could have all happened months ago for all we know. And GameStop is finally like, getting
All
up
right.
off their own hands and saying, here's your money back. And now we have to, and then that gets people asking like, well, where the hell is Doom Eternal going?
Yeah.
So kind of like a trickle down effect, if you will. But who knows? I mean, it could also have just been an oh shit, hair on fire moment. And everything gets thrown in the furnace.
Hit
all
that
at once,
panic
but
button.
Yeah.
It literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Panic button hits the panic button. So yeah, it's a good question, and one that I wish, we had a long discussion last night about transparency in the game industry and how it's not great. This is a
Yeah.
perfect example of where a little of that might have gone a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah, that's
True enough.
Yep. Well, want to know how you guys feel about a Tetris movie, but not in the way you're probably thinking. You hear Tetris movie, you think an adaptation a la Pixels or something like that. No, the Tetris the movie is coming to Apple TV and is actually going to be telling the story of how the game was made. And there is some good production behind this. Taron Egerton is going to be starring. It is going to be directed by John S. Baird, who did Stan and Ollie, which I actually watched on a plane and really enjoyed. And I believe, and the Rocket Man producer Matthew Vaughn is going to be producing this as well. So yeah, Egerton's playing Hank Rogers, a Dutch video game designer who first secured the rights to distribute Tetris on consoles where it found popularity. He was heavily involved in a dispute that arose over the franchise's copyright in 1980s. Noah Pink is the one penning the screenplay. So they're still finalizing the cast and all that, but that could be a really interesting movie.
I'd say so.
I
Yeah.
I give it 50-50 odds.
Sure.
50-50.
That's fair.
I think about like some good biographical movies like The Founder, which is if you've
I
never
need to
seen
see
it,
that.
it's like the story of McDonald's, and I never
Oh.
realized what an asshole the man that is mythologized as being.
What
the
is this
founder of
movie called that I'm
McDonald's is.
writing down right now?
The Founder.
The Founder.
It stars Michael Keaton. That's why I wanted to see it.
Oh,
excellent.
right. Okay.
It is
I remember that.
excellent. But then you have like the Steve Jobs movies, both of which were bad. Like Michael Fassbender is a pretty great actor, but that Steve Jobs movie sucked. And then you have the really bad Ashton Kutcher Steve Jobs movie, which is just like, I didn't want to see Kelso try to be serious for 2 hours, but here we are.
I know. I don't know if Stan and Ollie was also another one of those movies that were based on a true story. It showed the final tour of the comedic duo Stan and Ollie, and just how they all went through there. And it's bittersweet, and you get some of the classic things, and really well acted, really well done. I enjoyed that, and hopefully Andrew's okay because his video is stuck on my end.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. Hold up, let me just turn off.
Yeah, his audio's fine,
That's
but he's
actually hilarious.
He
What
looks
a
like really
freeze
interested
frame.
right now.
What a freeze frame. Okay, let me back out of it and come back. It actually might even be better. I can just switch cameras and then back.
There you go.
And
There
it
you
goes.
are.
There it is.
That
Hey.
the joke is that actually it wasn't broken. That is my real expression.
Oh, okay. Just
the whole
kept
time.
that the entire time. But
Just the whole time without moving. Ventriloquism.
I don't have Apple TV, so I don't know how I'll watch this, but it sounds interesting.
I think there's some there's some potential here. I mean, I definitely see where Steve's coming from. 50-50, video game related movie productions tend not to be great, but I do think there's a chance here. This certainly sounds like it has a lot more potential than. Do you guys remember back in 2016 there was this rumor going around or this I guess maybe now false report going around that Tetris was going to be a sci-fi movie trilogy? Do you guys remember how?
I remember this.
Yeah.
I do.
Oh,
I was
God.
going over my head like, how would
Yeah.
you do that? I can't even.
Yeah. This sounds both way more sensical and a lot less interesting than what we're actually getting. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm sure it would have been shit, but I would have loved to see how in the world they would have reimagined Tetris as a sci-fi movie trilogy. That said, I do think it's better positioned as a documentary about the creation of the game and its
absolutely.
origins.
Yeah.
I do really want, though, if we get nothing else, someday I want like a gritty ass trailer for like a Tetris movie.
There was
with your angry action narrator.
Don't you remember?
Yeah.
It was years ago. There was a Tetris trailer where Tetris blocks are falling from the sky and
Yes.
lining up with buildings and
Yes,
doing
I
things.
do remember that.
I do remember that. Yeah.
So, kinda.
No, I
We're
think
close.
this sounds really cool. I mean, I love documentaries. I would have been fine if this was literally just a documentary. Like, but what
Right.
it's doing something. I don't know if I'd call it unique because I mean, of course, it's been done. But if it does it well, I'll call that unique. It's just all based on how much work they're willing to put into this. And I don't have Apple TV, so I guess I'm not watching it though.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Rip.
Well,
I
since you
think
brought
that's
up,
it's interesting because a lot of these types of movies have come out. We've seen the real life sports stories, the real life tech genius stories, the real life, like The Founder, like how this all started. Not a lot for video games, like maybe The King of Kong, but that's again more documentary based. And,
Woof. There's
Yeah.
a lot going on with the King of Kong right now, too.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
to us to start getting those type of movies, I think is a good sign. And Tetris is, I don't know how interesting the story is. We'll find out. I guess there is a lawsuit involved, so who knows? But
That's always interesting.
yeah,
yeah. Based on
I'm
our
intrigued.
One of us subscribes.
Yeah, we'll have a movie
speaking
night.
of
Yeah, there you
gaming
go.
documentaries, I do want to confirm for both the chat and for you, Andrew, if you haven't seen it, that High Score on Netflix is a really good 6-episode video game documentary narrated by Charles Martinet. And my
I
wife and I watched
actually
the whole
have
thing.
seen it. I have seen
It's
it.
great, right?
I only got to see like half of them, but the ones that I did
Okay.
watch were really nice because
yeah,
I lost
and
my
the
Netflix
whole
subscription.
series is like that. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I didn't get to finish it, but I did get to see half of it. And they I'm trying to think of which one. I really like the Doom one. The Doom one was really, really interesting. I love hearing the stories of like early game development where like it can be 1, 2, 3 people, and then they can change the way that games were made forever. Like just this Tetris movie, I would love to see how this one guy, and did they have a team? Actually,
no, it was one Russian guy.
Yep.
It's funny because like Tetris is so big and so popular, but thinking about it, I don't really know a whole lot about Tetris's like development and how it was made.
Really?
I feel I know everything about the Atari. I know so much about E.T. I probably know more than the actual developer of E.T. There's just all E.T., Atari, the game Crash, those are all done to death. But I don't see Tetris as much. So I think this would be really, really interesting to see.
As Rob Arman X implies, maybe there's a Beta64 episode.
Beta64 Tetris. Man, skip out on original Mario Bros, Sonic, Tetris. Now depending on how much info there is, it might be happening.
It was the system seller for the Game Boy, so like
That's
I remember
true.
my mother like on trips would like, hey, give me the Game Boy, I want to play Tetris. And
I'd played Tetris Game Boy too. I love that game so much.
Oh, well, that's like one of the all-time greats.
Oh yeah,
of course, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I would probably say that Tetris is one of my favorite video games that was ever been made, just because of how much time and how many times I bought Tetris and still have fun. It's so
one of those
good.
things I don't think about, but then I play it and I'm like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like I really enjoy it, but I just don't think about it as like all-time favorites. I just don't. But
Tetris Effect, Puyo Puyo.
I mean, whether
Tetris.
it's Tetris
kind of
Effect is just wonderful. That's probably my favorite version of Tetris. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And regardless of whether it's your favorite or not, I think everybody can objectively agree that it's one of the very most impactful games of all time, regardless of whether you like it or not.
Oh
or
yeah.
play it a lot or not. There's just no doubt.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, real quick, Rob Arman X in the chat is saying, if anyone has Game Pass, get Tetris Effect connected, and that is a hard agree. I'm
that
a
on
big
Game
Tetris
Pass now?
guy, and I love that game.
Mm-hmm. I've heard really good things. I like Tetris Effect normally, so multiplayer with it sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, continuing the film news, I guess we'll go with that. It was known earlier that a Last of Us TV series was being developed for HBO, but that wasn't a guarantee that it was actually going to happen. However, today, Hollywood Reporter reported, go figure, that HBO has greenlit the Last of Us TV series, and that's from the guy who brought us Chernobyl. I think he's the showrunner. He's writing the show.
It's a good pedigree. Yeah.
And the game's writer and creative director is going to be assisting as well, Neil Druckmann. So I guess they can finally go forward on that and see how it all turns out. But I mean, this feels like HBO. Like that's not quite Walking Dead, but also like we need to find our next Game of Thrones, and this might be it.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like it makes sense.
If it ends well.
I'm not, yeah, sure. I'm sure it has a happy ending, right?
No, sure.
I love it.
I mean, I can't say that I'm like super excited for it, just because I feel like I already played a game that is so heavy-handed in its storytelling, as it's supposed to be, that I feel like I already got the cinematic Last of Us experience.
I guess that's a very good point.
But I mean, I'm not against seeing a new interpretation of that story on the small screen. So, I'm not like champing at the bit for it, but I'll certainly check it out when it comes out. Yeah.
That is just a very good point. Just saying like how cinematic The Last of Us is, it feels like you're watching a movie already, and now it's just going to be a movie. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, sure.
Or maybe they know that and they'll take the HBO adaptation in a different direction. Maybe they'll introduce some story variations, or maybe it won't even be about Joel and Ellie. Like maybe it's a story set in that world. Who knows?
Would they?
I don't know.
I feel like that's probably going to
go Joel and Ellie.
Yeah,
I think that the best opportunity is to, the first game. You're traveling over the course of 9 months. Cross country.
Yeah, there's a lot you don't see.
Plenty of room to expand upon that. Get some real,
true,
good emotional connection between the two, and
real good dying, death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to say.
Can't
A lot of
wait.
good stabby action.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we just start past the intro of the game though? Can we not ever see that happen again? Because that
Oh
was
no,
just
they are
the
gonna.
most horrifically
they're gonna-
awful way to begin any game. I can do without seeing that again.
They'll relish in it. That'll be the whole
Oh,
first
you know they
episode.
will.
Will
They're gonna
just
double
be
down on
that.
Yeah, it'll end with that
Absolutely.
shot at what the prologue is.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm already dreading that.
It's gut wrenching, but it would make for good television, especially if you've never
It would.
played The Last of Us. So
True.
Right.
I don't know. I'm kind of with Meowsticks from the chat. I think this would be another 50-50 shot for me. Like, it could be really, really good, or they could just completely miss with this, and it could feel like later seasons of The Walking Dead kind of bad. Like, I wonder...
Yeah.
Because there's a certain suspension of disbelief with, like, clickers and stuff like that, because you're in a video game and you don't expect everything to be photorealistic. But once you throw real people in there against crazy spore monsters, like, it might be a bit much. So I wonder if they're going to play with the enemy designs or with the infected designs for this to make them jive a little bit better with reality.
Maybe,
Well,
but
it's
I
funny
feel
you
like
say
them
that, Steve.
looking like that is
Iconic.
almost better. Yeah, it's more iconic and more. It makes them more than just zombies.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Steve, because you say willing suspension of disbelief with the clickers and such, but we are currently living through an actual global pandemic that thankfully just happens not to be cordyceps. So it isn't necessarily
lucky
as
this
far-fetched
time.
as maybe it used to be, I don't think. So maybe it'll resonate in a different way since we are actually living through a real pandemic, just a much less scary,
It'll
awful,
just be Joel and
lethal.
Ellie going through a supermarket where no one's wearing a mask.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
God.
We gotta hide.
That
Get
you know
down.
what? I would watch that with their quips and the way they talk to one another. I would watch that actually.
I mean, now I'm just imagining Joel doing his whole stealth gameplay and attacking people to anybody that's not wearing a mask. It's like,
Yeah,
Just putting a
Yeah.
mask on him from behind.
yeah, exactly.
Personal protective
Not even
equipment.
hurting him. It's just like, okay, mask.
Yeah. Meowsticks put it perfectly. Put Joel and Ellie in literally any situation. It would be like watching Morgan Freeman read the phone book. That would be incredibly arresting as well. So yeah,
What?
they could put them in any. It's Morgan Freeman, man. He's got the most
Man, The
perfect
Last of Us
voice.
is so much like Morgan Freeman reading a phone.
Well, Joel and Ellie, Joel and
Okay.
Ellie being so
And now
arresting
we just,
in any
we just
situation.
got the title of this episode.
Oh, nice.
Write that down.
Oh,
Write
Arman
it down.
X agrees. Yo, Ash gets it. Thank you, Arman X. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Well, this is pretty interesting. Our next topic. I don't know if you guys have been following Demon Souls too much on PS5, but a big talking point has been this brand new door in the game, and everybody's wondering,
Yep.
what's behind the door? What is behind there? And everybody's been trying to figure out what the heck it's all about. And somebody finally figured out how to do that, and it was a guy by the name of Distortion 2.
And they're
on
getting arrested right now.
Twitter. Yeah.
Yep, as always. There's
you're not
always at
supposed to
least
know.
one siren on my end because I live right above a busy street in LA. It's like a running gag,
You weren't supposed to know what was behind the door. Let's get them.
right?
So basically what it comes down to open the door, you need to collect the new ceramic coin item. And it's apparently limited for each one, like each playthrough. So you need to do multiple New Game Pluses in order to collect enough of it. But the guy's goal, I think, was to collect 60 of them and hoping like maybe that'll be enough. He got around 30 and tried to open the, talk to somebody who's like, you able to actually trade in for something, and was giving a key. So he immediately bolted to the door, opened it up, and the reward is a brand new armor set. So
Yawn.
I thought.
Yeah.
I thought
It's-
the way you were leading up to it, I was like a brand new
Yeah.
car.
yeah.
I was hoping it would be like an ice key or something. That's what I'm really disappointed by.
Well, you got the ice key for the ceramic thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
it's
sad
a
that
new
the
armor
key
set
opened
that
anything.
apparently looks kind of cool, but I mean, let's be honest,
wanted
whatever
this to
was
be-
behind the door was not going to be as cool as trying to figure
Yeah.
it out.
as the journey.
That's
as
not
the
true
mystery
at all,
of it.
man. That's
Wait, what do
not
you
true
want?
at
What
all.
did you want
could've-
behind the door?
I wanted them to go like Silent Hill with this and just give you like a laser gun or something that doesn't fit at all.
See, I
it's
thought you were going to
dogs
go.
the
All of a
whole
sudden, it was
time.
a Shiba Inu at a control panel controlling all the events of Demon Souls.
That I would
Look,
be
That
super
would be
down
really
with.
cool.
One of the secret items, Ash, you can probably help me out on this, but I swear to God, there was like a laser gun in one of the Silent Hill games that you could unlock.
Yes.
And it just one-shotted everything. And
Silent Hill 3. I think it's called. I think it's called the Heather Beam, if I remember correctly.
Give my Demon Souls character a Hawaiian shirt and a pistol, and let him just sort out the the rest of the world after that. Like,
now that you mention it, that is cool.
Yeah, I love mysteries like this, though. Like, it started with I was absolutely obsessed with the stop and swap thing back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm actually published on GameFAQs or Game FAQs because of a stop and swap FAQ I wrote when I was like, probably 14, 15 or something. It's still up there.
Dang.
But I love mysteries like this. And Blue Point has a pedigree for this, right? Like in Shadow of the Colossus, they also had kind of an enduring mystery that players initially didn't know how to open a certain door. And it became clear later how to do that. But Blue Point has a history of doing this, and even if the reward inevitably can't be as cool as the mystery of figuring out how to open the door, I do love stuff like this. I just and there are games to like it still haunts me. Like if you go back to Lufia 2, in that game's ending sequence, there's a door you can't open. Chrono Cross, the developer ending, there's a door you can't open, and you can even examine it and say this door seems to be completely shut. There's nothing behind there. People have data mined the game. There's nothing. But stuff like that gets me. And I love when mysteries like this actually get solved and there's actually something behind these doors.
Well, how many new game pluses did it take? Did it say?
I'm not sure.
That's a lot of work.
Do a quick read here.
It's just I can't imagine going through multiple new game pluses to get an armor set that'll make it easier. Like, but not even like at a fun kind of easier.
So you need 20.
Or is it
So
just
it says the
cosmetic?
process involves playing Demon Souls in Fractured mode, a new mirror mode Blue Point created that flips the world. You can initiate the mode with the statue in the Nexus by spending 25,000 souls. From there, it's a matter of getting your world tendency status to pure black or pure white, and scouring the land for ceramic coins in specific hidden locations. These coins are a finite collectible per playthrough. And to get the key to the secret door, you'll need to accumulate 26 of them, so it'll take at least a couple of New Game Plus runs with the same character. They can't be given away to other players or duped, so don't even bother trying. With a stockpile of 26 ceramic coins, you can trade them all with Sparkly the Crow in the Shrine of Storms for the key. And let me see the specific locations to see how many there are exactly. Doesn't say, it links to a thing where it's like 10th or 11th coin, so maybe only 10 per playthrough.
Cool. Okay.
So is this armor like just better, or is it just cosmetic?
That's the question, right?
Like, does it do anything other? But because like even if it is just cosmetic, I guess it would be kind of like, hey, I'm the guy that opened the door. I'm the guy who played 4 playthroughs for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Richard Herrera puts it in good perspective. The game just came out last week. It's true. Like, it's easy to think of Shadow of the Colossus being further in the rearview mirror, but it only took players a week to really hone in on this. So that's interesting.
True.
Here, I'll put the link in our Discord so you can see it for yourself, what the armor looks like. It doesn't look that special, but I don't know its stats. So I don't know if it's something to get excited about.
Straight up, it looks like Dark Souls armor to me. I hate to say that. I know they are different. I know that the suits of armor and such are all different. But just from someone on the outside looking in who doesn't play a lot of Dark Souls, that just looks like Dark Souls armor to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been playing Demon Souls, and I'm like, that looks neat.
Or Demon Souls,
I'm
my
never
bad,
gonna
not Dark
get
Souls.
It.
Yeah.
Well, Demon Souls, Dark Souls, kind of.
Yeah.
For the purpose of this discussion, very same kind of
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up what's special about this armor, and I nobody's talking about stats. It's just the fact that
I don't know.
up the door.
So that must mean it doesn't have a good
Do
one.
you need better armor if you've run through 3 new game pluses already?
That was
Yeah,
exactly my
that
point.
too.
It's
Yeah,
like,
good point.
make the game even easier.
Yeah,
So
you're
that
like, woo, man, I've only beat this 3 times. Gonna need this to get through this 4th run.
Yeah.
Come on.
On mirror mode.
that mirror mode makes it so much more difficult.
Well, yeah.
Trophy armor at that point, says Meowsticks, pretty much.
Yeah, it's really just to show off that you're good at Demon Souls.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, that's exactly the kind of game that the player base would want to show off their skill for. So.
Oh yeah,
I guess that's true.
that is a good point. But that's what it is.
Like, woo! It took only a week. That's surprising, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not super surprising. Gamers be gamers.
Yeah, you give them a task and people will just go out of their way for it. I guarantee by the end of the weekend, somebody's going to have every character in Hyrule Warriors level 99, everything unlocked, all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, Luxiel puts it in good perspective, at least for me. He says, dude, this is like having 100 Skulltulas and such. And to be fair, when you put it in the frame of reference of a Zelda game, I'm like, okay, yeah.
It's like, now I get it.
Like,
yeah.
Now I understand.
That's still
over my friends be like, look at my Nintendo 64. This is a complete save file.
I did everything in Ocarina of Time. Cool, what's to get you? A bigger wallet. What do you spend it on? Nothing.
That Infinite Gold Rupee is still, to my mind, one of the most tremendous disappointments, rewards for completing some milestone in any game ever. I remember thinking, it's whatever you get for 100 Skulltulas. It has to be the coolest thing ever, right? Now, Infinite Gold Rupee, when you literally don't need rupees ever again. Man.
Like, well...
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
but the journey, right? It's about the journey, not the
destination. The journey. Dennis J, 900 Korok seeds.
Yeah, 900 Korok seeds, perfect. Yeah.
That is, Nintendo loves just giving you the finger as soon as you
Nintendo has
game.
Kind of the worst rewards for doing all their stuff. Like sometimes you'll get good ones, like in Mario Galaxy 2. I enjoyed the Luigi mode in the original Galaxy, unlocking that.
Sure.
Made me play the game again completely, so I was down. But Zelda games aren't great for 100% completion.
But getting those Korok seeds, I mean, it did give the opportunity for articles to read, you literally get poop by 100%ing Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean...
And you're doing it again in Hyrule Warriors.
The only thing I will say positive about Hestu's gift is that it did allow me to insert a fart into a Game Explain video.
See?
So, there's
that is very important.
Thank you, Nintendo.
That is the gift that just keeps on giving.
This isn't a completion reward or anything, but Richard Herrera just brought up still one of the best enduring Easter eggs in any Zelda game, which is the Chris Houlihan room in Link to the Past. That just feels like one of those things that doesn't actually exist, but when you try it, it does. Mm-hmm. And it's just really cool that it's still in the game. And the first time I saw that, I was like, this is so neat.
Also, I mean, him having the last name Houlihan is probably the best part of that, because you're like, that's definitely fake.
Right?
I read Houlihan, I'm like, all right, liar.
Yeah.
Let's test your metal. Like, oh, that's in there. I feel bad about myself.
Oh, I didn't know about this. Charlie Bird says, then there's the Error Houlihan room in Cadence of Hyrule. I didn't know about that. I didn't play that much Cadence of Hyrule, so that's cool.
Yeah, Itiono Ben in the chat makes a good point. 100% completion rewards are inherently tricky. If you're given a special tool, it'll be useless since you've already done everything. And if it's more levels, then you still haven't finished everything.
Right.
Fair.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Give me something at the end of 100% completion that I can then take to a New Game Plus and just kick the game's ass again with it. Like that's the ideal reward for me. Like if I love a game enough to 100% it and you give me like a really great weapon or power at the end, then I'll be like, yeah, I'll start over with this.
Metal Gear Solid's really good about that. Just in general, like the first game, the whole series is good. Well, not anymore, but MGS1 was really good about that. Yeah. I think 2 and 3 as well.
Yeah, Chicago Typewriter.
Oh, and Resident Evil 2, yeah. Of course, 4 and
Yep. Cool stuff. Well, continuing on, we had a sale recently. A rare sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 sold for $156,000 at auction. Oh, breaking the record set earlier this year by Super Mario Brothers, which held the record at $114,000. And I guess it was July. So here's the interesting thing about this one. It was not only in top condition, like sealed in box, but the packaging itself was rare. As Heritage Auctions explains, this is from Nintendo Everything, by the way, while the condition of the game is remarkable, what makes the copy even more singular is the layout of the packaging itself. Exceedingly rare are sealed copies with the word Bros formatted to the left, covering one of Mario's signature white gloves. Collectors have spent years looking for such a version, the earliest in the Super Mario Bros. 3 production history, and usually come up empty-handed. So this was the special of this special, because in my mind, it was like Super Mario Brothers 3, really? But no, because it has the text covering Mario's right hand, that's what makes it extra special, meaning it's a much earlier version. And yeah,
Well, I didn't know that at all. I didn't even know
yeah.
there were multiple boxes.
Me neither.
Every time I read a story like this, it reminds me that life is unfair.
Right.
You're telling me that I could pay off my house if I happen to find a weird Mario box.
That honestly,
I don't have the box, but I kind of want to look at my cartridge because it's my one I had as a kid. It's like, do I have the Mario that covers the hand or not? And if I threw out
then you'll just be really angry that you threw the box.
Exactly.
let me see if I get really angry. I'm going to be right back.
You know what? I'm going to grab my boxed copy of Mario 3 too. I'll be right back.
just like, oh my gosh,
God.
I'll give you $10.
Yeah. Every time I hear stuff like this, it just makes me
All right.
regret.
Apparently,
like,
I got
know,
a later production version because mine is not covering the hand.
Dang.
Nice.
What
Mine is still in a
revision
box
number?
somewhere. I'm sure I have a regular one though. I
It
would
should
be
have a
shocked
revision
if I had
number
that.
on there.
Yeah.
If-
I wonder how
'cause
much
there's,
the
like-
cartridge would go for.
Oh, probably not much. I think Mario
Yeah.
Brothers 3 is probably like $60 or something like that.
See, all I knew
Even
was
the
that
variant version though.
I
I don't
didn't
know.
know that. Well, I did know that there were like two versions of Mario Brothers, like cartridge versions, where it's like one has misspellings in the game from bad translations, and the other one doesn't. It's like
Ooh,
version.
okay.
I think it says on it like revision 1.1 or something like that.
I lied.
If that's, you lied. Well,
No, so my box copy of Mario 2 Mario 3 is downstairs, but I do have my box copy of Mario 2.
I never
which is
kept the
worth it.
boxes.
it's formatted to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
I-
There's nothing special or magical about this one. Also, it's out of focus.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they were cardboard. So, and you're so used as kids, like toss out cardboard that you never
Yeah.
kept it. I kept the construction manuals,
know.
but
I wish I'd had the foresight. I mean, I do have quite a few boxes for whatever reason. I kept a lot of the boxes from the GBA.
that's when I started
GBA
keeping the
and-
cardboard boxes when I realized,
Yeah.
wait a second.
So I still have some of those, but those aren't going to be anywhere near as valuable as something like this.
No.
So what are you going to do?
Although, well, it's a little earlier than GBA, but the article also mentioned it was worth noting that a sealed copy of Pokemon Red sold for $84,000 as part of today's auction, which is the highest price ever paid for a Pokemon title, and it was more than 4 times its pre-sale estimate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang, dude.
Well, I don't have a
Yeah.
No.
I don't have a
Not
boxed
me.
copy of Mario 3 to check, but I do have my cartridge packed away in a box still at the moment. So when we do unpack that box, you can bet I'll be checking where the placement of Brothers is.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Just in
go
case.
downstairs after this, after we're done recording tonight. Find my copy of Mario 3, my boxed copy of Mario 3, and see where the hand placement is. Or the
Everybody's
road
checking, like,
placement
do we have
is.
money for this? Like, we sitting on money we didn't realize?
I know, right?
Yeah.
This is like Antiques Roadshow for a very, very specific subset of people.
Yeah.
Meowstick says, I have a Pokemon Blue Game Boy cartridge with the box and manual and everything, signed by Knob, one of the translators. That's pretty cool.
Knob is
Yeah.
a great.
That's
name.
cool. That's cool.
Oh, okay. So Knob is apparently the translator, the most important one for the early titles. That's pretty cool.
Interesting.
I did
Dennis
not
J
realize
says,
that.
Steve, if you're not on next week's shows, we know why. Same thing with me. If I suddenly disappear, you can safely assume that I found a super rare version of this cartridge.
I don't know, man. I'm just gonna level with you in the chat here. $175,000 sounds like a lot, but
It's not.
It's really
No, it's not
a lot.
actually.
It's
Really,
really
yeah,
not.
it's
Like,
really
you would
not.
get to pay off some mortgages, but that's about it. Maybe some mortgages.
Maybe.
Here in
What did
LA,
you
that'll
do
get you 1 month rent of in a studio right here in
Yeah.
downtown LA.
Like, that's not going to pay off my house.
Yeah.
175 is a lot for a game. Yes.
Yes.
yeah, for
Yes.
a game, it's
For
a
a
huge
game.
amount. I'd be
For
like,
a house?
I paid off my van.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Even if it isn't that much in context, if anybody wants to give me $175K, I'm not going to turn it down. Don't get me wrong here.
We definitely told you guys not to buy us $60 games at the top
Yeah.
of the show.
But
if you wanna send us
$175,000.
$175,000.
Boy, you
Bring
know.
it on.
I'll do it for
Exactly.
the meme.
I'll do it for the meme.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, goodness. Well,
Yeah,
moving
where's
on.
Mr. Beast when you need him?
Yeah, seriously.
He's the one who bought the copy.
There you go.
Probably.
He's broke now.
And then he's going to raffle it off like a nice guy.
And it's going to be like,
Yeah.
we're giving it away for free. Just retweet. Ha, ha.
There you go. Oh goodness. Well, moving on. Got more Sony news as PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan is talking once again and has gave a little hint that an Xbox Game Pass style service is in the works for the PlayStation 5. Though I read the article and it doesn't seem to give that much info on it. It's just like, yeah, there's more news to come, but we don't have it right now. And then he just promoted PlayStation Now and the PlayStation Plus collection. Yeah. But apparently
whenever
they're
I see the word
into
hints, whenever you see the word hints at something, it's like, is it though?
No.
Is it though?
It doesn't really seem like it.
In this case, I would be surprised if he isn't hinting at something that's really coming, because you know that PlayStation has seen the overwhelming success and value inherent in Xbox Game Pass. So why wouldn't they want to have some sort of answer?
Well, 100% agree with that.
Well, sorry.
No,
I just want to bring this up that in the VG247 article that it comes from, Sony has repeatedly shot down the idea of a Game Pass in the past, deeming it unsustainable and calling its first-party releases too clean and pure to exist on a subscription service.
And pure.
Yeah,
that sounds like some Square Enix nonsense.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
Our game is so clean and pure. We wouldn't dare charge you a subscription fee. What is that? What?
I don't know.
That.
Yeah. So
I'm with Ash on this one, that they have to be eyeing this very closely. Like Game Pass is good press, and somehow it works. I don't pretend to understand how the hell it works financially.
Is it like Movie Pass and Microsoft's just going to go out of money soon?
Right, that's a question. Is Microsoft taking a hit on this? I've talked to a few developers who have games on Game Pass, and they seem to be very happy with whatever their arrangement is. Obviously, I'm not privy to those details, but they've told me, like, yeah, it makes money for them. So I don't know if Microsoft just knows that this is going to draw in lots of people, and that's how they're going to manage to pay for all this. Because I imagine you get paid like by the download or something to that effect, right? It's not just going to be, hey, we're going to pay you a monthly fee forever as long as your game is on Game Pass. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I imagine that, Microsoft has found a way to make this work. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep adding stuff to it.
Yeah.
True.
So, yeah, I think that Sony would be wise to look at it. I think also, though, they're like news to come. But then in the same breath, he mentions PlayStation Now, which is objectively not Game Pass. Like, that is...
Right.
How does PlayStation Now work?
Yeah,
I don't actually know. I've never really looked into PlayStation Now.
Yeah, I've never looked into it.
I've tried it a few times. A couple E3s back, Sony gave me like access to 4 or 5 PlayStation Now games because they wanted me to check it out, and I tried them, and I was like, this is terrible. This is like playing games over a very bad internet connection, which makes a lot of sense. And I dipped out of the tech real fast. And they haven't really been pushing it since then, so I imagine there hasn't been any real substantial improvement in the last 3 years or so. Because I think they purchased a company, Gaikai, I think it was, that was into this streaming tech and just kind of said, hey, you guys work on PlayStation things only now. So I don't think that they've put quite the thought and effort into it that Microsoft or even Google has, or even Amazon, now that I think about it.
Is Amazon doing something like that?
I think they're planning to do something
Luna.
like that.
They have...
Right.
Hold on, let me see if I have it here.
I got Stadia recently, actually.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
They have the Amazon Luna controller, which looks remarkably like another controller we're all very familiar with.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I picked up the service. I thought it would be neat to check out. There we go. Oh, man. Hold on.
Dude, oh, no. He's going to one-up me.
I love how we're pulling out
going
controllers.
To Obscurity Wars? Because I'm right there with you.
Yo.
I've got 2 controllers I don't use.
Wait, what's that other one? I don't even know. Is that my first thought was the Ouya.
Oh, so we've got Stadia right here, which actually I like the design of this controller. It's cute, and it actually feels okay to use.
I really like the
Then
Stadia
I've got
controller.
Amazon Luna, which is...
Oh, okay. So I thought the Stadia controller was white, so that's why I was confused.
Oh, yeah, they make like 3 colors. They have this navy blue, the white that Andrew's got, and then they have like a weird dentist office green one.
Ooh.
Ew.
Yeah,
I have an
no
OG
thanks.
Shield lying around here somewhere. It's not within arm's reach, but I do have an OG like Shield 1.0 design
battle of
model
controllers.
lying around
Yeah,
here.
I don't have anything. All I got is my Switch controllers from when I was playing
That's a good
Hyrule
one.
Warriors earlier.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Oh, since we're on a tangent about controllers, real quick, because it didn't make the news because it was only in Japanese. The Splatoon Pro controller is getting re-released in Japan
Oh,
Really?
for the holidays this year as part of a bundle. It's like $120, and you get Splatoon 2, the Pro controller, and 3 months of Switch Online.
Nice.
And I don't need 2 of those 3 things, but I
Yeah.
would love a new Splatoon Pro controller, so I might just go for it. Just because I've been using that's like my go-to Pro controller. I just love the green and the pink and the
Yeah.
design on it. So
Oh, yeah.
getting it reissued, I'm just excited to be able to pick up a new one. You know,
Didn't Nintendo release like a massive 100-page like ad extravaganza for Japan for like the holidays?
yeah, there's a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of stuff. They re-released a bunch of bundles that they hadn't had out for a while, like the Super Mario Party Joy-Con bundle is back in Japan too.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I didn't look at it because it was Japan only, so I'm like,
It's like,
nobody
wow,
will
I'm
care.
so glad we didn't get any of this. That's
Yeah,
nice.
Amazon.
I kinda still wanna get a Smash
They
version.
ship internationally.
I have done that before. I have done that.
Yeah.
They're good.
I still kind of want to get a Smash version of the Pro controller. I always like that design. That's the one you have, right? Derek?
Yeah, that's the one I picked up.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah. I like that one.
I wanted one that had a better D-pad because the D-pad of my
Sure.
initial Pro controller wasn't great.
Yeah.
Right. I always wanted the Xenoblade one, even though I'm
I
not a
That one's
so
cool.
should have picked up the
That one
Xenoblade
is
one.
cool.
I'm so upset
Yeah.
that I didn't.
I think they redesigned the D-pad for that one too, didn't they? Like, it
Yeah,
had
they
the
did.
Improved D-pad.
Yo.
Oh, you know what? Actually, this is topical. It's not just a Mega Man mention. This is topical. I was helping my dad pair some stuff in storage recently, and I was going through a bunch of my old gaming stuff. I still have the GameCube, like the Mega Man X Edition GameCube controller that came with, or released alongside Mega Man X Command Mission.
Oh,
And it
okay.
has like X's head crystal as the start button on the controller. It's actually really cool. But apparently that thing's worth a few $100 these days. I'm not going to get rid of it, but it's kind of cool that I have something that's, worth that much these days. I guess they were really hard to get back then too.
I wonder if I should have got those really kitschy controllers they released back in those days, because I know Resident Evil 4 on GameCube had the chainsaw controller.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
got brought up in the chat.
Yep. And
Yeah.
then for Dragon Quest 8 they released a slime controller on PS2.
I
where
know
it's
someone
a
who
little
has
slime.
that. Right, I
You have
remember that.
this big bulky thing, and you have
Yeah.
the PS2 thing. It's not ergonomic at all, but it's a slime.
That one,
Yeah.
that slime controller is available for the Switch in Japan, and
Oh,
I am
really?
going to get it.
Oh, really?
nice.
Nice.
So help me.
ETNO Ben says, "Arf, I want one." And for those of you who don't know what that's a reference to, there was a Game Magazine ad for this Mega Man X version controller that had like quotes attributed to various Mega Man characters talking about how cool this controller is. And so in the ad it goes, "Arf, I want one," and it's supposed to be Rush, right? But they attribute it to Zero, and it's one of the funniest
Oh, right, that.
attributions in any gaming.
I think I have
ad.
seen
That is
that.
the deepest
That's
cut.
so
Yeah.
funny.
Uh-huh.
That is like if you're drinking along to the Mega Man mentioned game here on today's list tonight, do a double for that one, because that
Yeah,
one
that's pretty good.
That
That's
is like
pretty
some EGM level
Yeah,
weirdness.
it
that
was
we
an
just got.
EGM, Game Pro, all those. Yeah.
Oh God, I miss EGM. I remember devouring EGM back in the day.
Oh, same.
I was at the I don't want to call it a rap party, but they all got laid off, the magazine closed.
Right.
And I happen to have a friend who worked at, this is just a weird tangential relation, who worked at Apple as a sound engineer, who was also a freelancer for EGM, and just decided, like, I'm going to invite all of them over to my house and have a party. And
Nice.
he called me. I lived like 3 hours away, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come over and meet all the EGM crew that got laid off?" I was like, "Yes."
You kidding
And
me?
I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
seriously.
drove 3 hours to the Bay Area, got ridiculously drunk, and then had to sleep in my car because there were too many people at the house. It's cold
Worth
in
it.
the Bay Area at night. That's the moral of the story.
The moral of the
don't
story
drink
is-
and then not have a hotel room, folks.
Yeah.
It's-
Anyway,
Anyway,
that
sad
said,
story.
I have no idea how those guys were able to do 3-person reviews for every single game.
It's impressive.
magazine deadlines, man. Think about it. Like,
I guess
Yeah.
having an
You had-
entire month to do those, that's
right,
crazy.
like some cases you just had a month, and you had to fill what, like 100 pages, like
True.
between your whole crew. So
God, that seems so
maybe
easy nowadays.
yeah, let's kickstart a magazine.
Dude.
Let's.
I'm sure
Right?
that'll
You
do
know,
why
well.
not?
Screw it. YouTube is over. We're going back to paper. It's fine.
Everything's going back to paper,
See
man.
you all in December.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I thought Andrew fell asleep. He froze again.
Oh, gosh dang. I don't know.
That would have been hilarious.
I'm
like,
like,
no, it's so
man,
riveting,
Andrew is
guys.
not having this story
so
at all.
riveting.
He is, man. He's just like, oh, I am
What even is a magazine?
It's freezing
Yeah.
on the perfect frames.
magazines. Humph.
See, God, I'm so
Yeah.
young. I don't even know what magazine. What's paper? Is that something you can get on your phone?
Yeah, is that
No,
an
I love gaming magazines. Like, my parents were like, they didn't want to spend the money on this, so I would go to like the library and pick up the Nintendo Power magazines that came out in the month and read those. They were just, I love gaming magazines. It's so sad that it's just.
I remember starting with GamePro, and then I think I went to. I think I went to EGM because of the demo disc they always did. No, it was official PlayStation magazine I got
Demo
because of the demo
discs.
disc that came out all the time. EGM, I think I just saw, and I read it front. That's how I know so much about games, because of gaming magazines. I didn't care about
Yeah.
all these games, but I wanted to read it back to front and see it. I read about the sports games, for God's sakes.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So good,
Never
man.
actually read Nintendo Power though, for whatever reason. I think it's because
Really?
when I was
Really?
I didn't have Nintendo until GameCube again. Just had a big
Oh,
gap.
okay.
And then when I got back to it, I was like, it's Nintendo Power. These guys are biased, so I won't bother.
I didn't read
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo Power for the reviews. No. It was for the full page color pictures.
See,
Now, if
when
I
I was-
Nintendo
know-
Power. I can't remember
go ahead.
exactly when it was, but Nintendo Power went through an interesting transformation somewhere along the way, where they went from like a very kiddie focused kind of like more like younger style of writing to more of an EGM style, like more young adult focused, kind of edgier feel to it. I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I remember it being a very sudden shift from being very Nintendo specific and kind of Nintendo friendly language to just kind of a more adult bent, I guess, that you would see in EGM or Game Informer. But it was still great. I mean, Nintendo Power, I miss it. EGM was like my number one. Growing up, like people like Dan Shu and Crispin Boyer were like my heroes. They were like who I wanted to be growing up. I loved EGM so much.
I remember
Oh, yeah.
some of the
EGM.
comics at the back of EGM. The Suin.
Yeah.
Suin, I forget the other guy.
Shu and who was the other guy?
I forget, but some of those comics I remember reading and just cracking up at the.
Shu and Chan, wasn't it?
I think so. But
Sushi X as
some
well.
of them made me
Can't
laugh,
forget Sushi
and that's where I
X.
discovered. I think that's where I discovered. Is that where I discovered Sean Baby for the first time? Because
Sean Baby.
God, some
oh
of
man,
his
I haven't heard that name in a
write-ups.
while.
so good.
I used to
Alright.
he used to crack me the hell up.
Mhm.
Still does when I see his stuff. Yeah.
So it was Shu and Chan, and they actually ended up serializing their EGM comic into a regular comic book. Which I didn't
Oh.
Oh,
realize.
cool.
Wow.
I had no idea.
That is awesome. I actually, for a brief period, Dan Shu worked at Sony as a PR guy. And I worked with him on covering Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4, for the PS4, because they did a port like of Street Fighter 4, and I had to take a moment, like when we were emailing back and forth about review code, and I was like, hey man, I used to read you in EGM all the time, like I grew up reading your stuff, and he's like, yeah, thanks, that makes me feel real old. Here's your code.
That's about the right
All right,
reaction.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, the final bit of news we have this week is just something minor. Consumer spending on digital games is up 14% year over year, which makes sense considering the year we're in.
True.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Because I have noticed, maybe it's just my group of people I'm with, relate to. Probably that, but it seems like more people are going for the disc version of the PS5 rather than the discless. Nobody wants to go all digital with the PS5.
It seems to be skewed heavily in favor of the disc drive equipped version of the PS5. Yeah,
you
although
get the
that may not
discless?
just be because of game. People might want to use their existing Blu-ray collection
Exactly.
that they have physically. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If I didn't get the disc version from Sony, I would have gotten the digital.
Really?
No,
Really?
I wouldn't have.
In
No,
this
no
business,
way.
like, yeah, sometimes you get like physical. Like, I've had surprise physical games show up, and that's probably the only reason that I have a disc-based version of the PS5. But I don't care. Like, I don't
Really?
think, if I buy a physical game, it's more for my shelf, for my collection, than it is for the express purpose of playing it, which sounds really counterintuitive. But at least in the case of the PS5, I really like the symmetry of the digital version's design, where
really nice.
the disc version is $100 more and has that huge bump on the side for the disc drive, which I don't like. I mean, but I also find myself more and more just wanting to have digital games. I mean, I already have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. There's no longer a hard drive space argument because games don't run off the disc anymore.
True.
They copy them down to the hard drive, so you're out of
Right.
the space regardless. And then at least with digital games, when I buy them, the updates are bundled in, so I don't have to copy the game from the disc and then update the game. It's just up to date when I download it from whatever my eShop is. And I think it's because of the Switch that I'm more of a digital game guy now, because my Switch is just
Same.
I put everything on there. I spent a stupid amount of money to get a terabyte SD card for the thing. And so
Terabyte.
everything is digital on there. I
I
have
have-
100 games installed.
Still have to cycle through. I
Yeah.
had to clear out some space before I could download Hyrule Warriors.
Wow.
I got
I've
a
had
big
the
one,
same-
but
Yeah, I think I have
big
a
enough.
512 in mine, or I think I have a 512.
I think I have
but,
a
Steve,
256
it's the
or something like
exact
that.
same with me. And like Derek, over the years in Game Explain discussions, you and I have always been the physical game guys. I love getting games physically, but more and more, Steve, I gotta say, the Switch has been responsible for me really embracing digital. And I have some physical games on my Switch, but by and large, I love having everything on my Switch digitally. I feel less strongly about that, about PS4 and Xbox, whatever, I guess because they're not portable. But
True.
yeah, the Switch has really, really pushed me toward digital in a way that no other platform ever has, I have to say.
well, I think the other thing that's kind of pushed me that direction is just because of the job. We get sent digital
too.
copies,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah.
I already have it. Unless I'm really into the game, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2's case, I'm not going to buy it again. I don't
Yeah.
for the physical version.
Now,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm the same way with the fact that the Switch got me to do digital, but it's mostly just because of portability factor. Because I don't want to have a bunch of different cartridges available at all times. Just like, oh, I got to make sure to switch out the cartridge with this one. And if I'm on I don't know, I'm about to say train, but there aren't a whole lot of trains I'm going on right now. But in that kind of sense of if I'm going somewhere, I don't want to have all these cartridges available. I want to just boot up the games. But when it comes to the PS5, because I haven't gotten a PS5, but if I do get one, I'm definitely gonna get the disc one, only because digital games just don't go on sale as much as physical games do.
Also a very good
Oh,
point.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whenever a game comes out within a month, 2 months, you're already seeing discounts at stores for here's the even Walmart does $10 off a new release game. So that's already a discount just at launch, and it only gets cheaper from there. And with digital, Sony does some good sales sometimes, I will say. Nintendo games?
No.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can pick up a copy of New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe for $60 or so, or 50, something like that on the eShop, or you could buy it for $20 at a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no joke, I have been waiting 4 years almost for a sale on Breath of the Wild, the digital version. So I reviewed the Switch forever ago now, and because the eShop wasn't ready, when they sent out review units, they sent me a physical copy of Breath of the Wild, and I still love that game. I still boot it up every couple months, right? And so I'm
Good one.
it's been in my Switch for years now. I'll take some, temporarily. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna try Ring Fit Adventure. I'll take Breath of the Wild out for 12 minutes, and then I'll put it back.
And I'll remember what this game is.
I just keep telling myself, man, Breath of the Wild has more than earned a slot in my digital library, but I'm also not going to pay $60 for it. I beat it years ago, but Nintendo knows. They know. I'm hoping when
they're-
Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, they'll be like, yeah, take $5 off or something. But
That's about as good as a sale you're going to get.
No.
Ugh. Funny thing is, hanging out at conventions and whatnot, talking to Ant Dude, for whatever reason, Switch is his time to go physical and everything. He has a massive physical collection of Switch games.
Is it 'cause it's
Also
smaller?
digital. What's that?
The case,
I
because
guess,
the cases
but,
are smaller? Or something?
he was specifically going to Limited Runs booth to see what other games he could get to have physical, but he loves having physical versions of Switch games. I don't know. I forget exactly why, but that's his thing.
I mean,
guess I
if
could see it like if
storage
you're going for
space.
the completionist kind of thing. Like you just want to have every physical game, so 10 years from now you can break out a Switch. I don't know.
Be that guy that has the entire N64 collection on that, but that's only like 100 games, so it's not too hard.
Well, I guess like you made the point of digital and physical. You don't have to worry about storage space being a difference between them for like
And
PS5
that is the
stuff,
case
'cause
in
it copies
Switch
everything.
for the most Switch games.
Right.
Most Switch games, everything's on the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about it. So and micro SD cards, they can be cheap, but if you get to the 1 terabyte ones, it's gonna cost you a penny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just a little penny, just
Just a bit.
So you could save money going physical. You could save storage space going physical. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean,
different ways
yeah.
to do it.
Space.
Plus,
Space is
like,
the
I also
hard
just have an existing, like, I have quite a few movies on Blu-ray that I already own. I have some anime.
True.
I just like the freedom and the option of using those.
Right.
Especially, in a new system that can, potentially upscale. I'm looking at getting a 4K TV pretty soon. So I just like having the option to use, my discs. I bought them. I own them. Might as well be able to use them, right?
Exactly.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's probably all we could really say about digital games at this point. And with that, we've covered all of today's major headlines from today's news. But before we sign off, Andrew, where can everyone find you at?
Well, you can find me youtube.com/Beta64. I talk about game development. I talk about how games were made, unused stuff within the games, stuff like that. Just basically the history of the game and what was left out in it. I also stream on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, so in like 15 minutes. Did I just time the episode? Oh, I gave the episode a time of day. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine.
So, twitch.tv/Beta64. I'm on Twitter, Beta64 official. That's really the places that I'm at.
Very cool.
If you're interested, come say hi.
Yeah, definitely. And before we, of course, go, we have to give a special thanks to all of our patrons at the producer tier for helping to make this show happen. Really couldn't do it without you. It is massively appreciated. And an incredibly huge thank you to all the patrons at the executive producer tier and above. And those fine folks include Rob Arman X, Dan Entwistle, Z Patty, Adam O'Sullivan, Floating Mew, Christopher, The D-Pad, Vesmio, OnStar, Dukamon, Diogo, Kieran Phillips, Benny Yao, Rosa Bowling, Steve's mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Geller, Shiny Turkey, Titus Malvolio, Jake Pelka, Michael Phone, Mitchell Herring, Top Dog, 23100, Jay Acosta, Game Explain, and Charles Zaz. And remember that you too can become a patron over at patreon.com/gvgaming, where you can watch today's news tonight live for as little as $5 a month. And thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Good Vibes Gaming for more good times like these. And until next time, good night, and good vibes. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good
See
weekend.
ya.
Hell yeah.
That was good.